It's Renita Alexander, the Leadership Locksmith. I'm here with Set It Up Sunday, where we set up our week, our year, our life for success. This month, April, is Financial Literacy Month. And so we've been talking about money all this month. And I'm very pleased to have with me as a guest, Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth McGinnis. Now, we recorded this earlier. We had some glitches, so we're doing it again. Kenneth was so gracious to grant me a little bit more time to share his thoughts on money. He's a financial planner, has his side gig. He's got multiple jobs. He's doing many things, but he's found the time to make financial planning profitable for him as well as for his clients. So, Kenneth, welcome to Set It Up Sunday. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it again.
Yeah. So as we previously discussed, we were going to talk a little bit about investing today, specifically around the housing. But before we get to that, I just want you to tell the folks, about yourself, how you came to start your company.
Okay. So I decided to start weapons management due to the fact that I knew I wanted to get into the financial industry back when I was active duty. And I didn't have the opportunity. So when I got out active duty, I knew I wanted to venture into the financial world, but I also knew that the financial world was all about marketing and sales. And a lot of times I didn't want to be a starving salesman. So of course I continued to get a normal day-to-day job. I'm an engineer full time. I'm also a reservist. And then now I have this. So it was a good gap, and plus it's a consultation business. So consultation business doesn't take too much of your time. So it's a business I could fit in there and do it at my leisure. And plus, like I said, I have a true passion for it. So knowing that I had a true passion for it back then, I decided to get in the financial industry. Now I didn't start with weapons. I kind of did get an insurance license and was working towards my Series 6, which is an investment license for mutual funds.
Okay.
But while I was pursuing that, I started identifying gaps in the industry.
Okay.
And those gaps was accountability. So weapons management is more of an accountability company to hold people accountable, check numbers. And I know everything's about numbers because a lot of times, even in the traditional financial industry, it's all about sales still, like I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to shape myself, not to be about the sales, but be about the accountability, the numbers, the coach.
The coaching part. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, because it's all about coaching, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I created this basically to make myself more into a accountability coach for finances, and then a person that can show you numbers. It doesn't stress me out. I have a gift for it. So, some people get stressed out over numbers and over finances. I'm the guy that can make you go, calm down. Let me get you your numbers. And then I regurgitate back to you, and I give you a process. Okay. And that's pretty much why I created Weapons.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, it's all about the money mindset. And, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, just, understanding even how we feel about money. So you touched on this a little bit, but I want you to expand a little bit because I think it's important too that, people have multiple streams of income. And so you definitely have that. So how have you been able to have a profitable side gig while working for the Air Force and being a Air Force reservist? So that's a lot going on. So, and husband and father.
Yes, that is true. Husband and father first, actually. I got to take care of that because if my wife ain't happy and my daughter ain't happy, I ain't happy. So that is very true. It's becoming profitable mainly because I started doing a lot of these principles that I teach many years ago. So I set a strong foundation on my own. Mm-hmm. And then I added little things from my own mentorship and from other companies that I've dealt with, that I started learning that these things that I had my foundation on how I look at finances and the corporate understanding of finances started combining it, and I started becoming profitable myself. Mm-hmm. So what happened is when I started becoming profitable myself, I started identifying that I was doing something extremely correct because my cash flow was just taking off. So it made me profitable in a business side because what I do is when I have a potential client and I'm talking to them, I show them my results first. So I say, I'm not going to teach you anything I don't know. Here are my results if you want to confirm that you're talking to the right person. So basically, one of my favorite saying is that you're not going to have a fat guy teach you how to get six-pack abs. So, so I like to say, I'm not your average coach. I'm a person that has results. If you want to work with me, I can try to get you to where I'm at. And that's how I developed my clientele. And that's how I became profitable, through the fact that people are like, oh, he has results. I want to work with him.
They're like, show me the money.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So we talked a little bit about home ownership when we were just discussing what we wanted to talk. So it's been a path to financial stability for many people. What advice would you offer to someone who wants to buy a home?
So if you want to buy a home, do some homework. Definitely do homework, because there has a lot of people are afraid of buying homes because they're not educated.
Mm-hmm.
Now me, I was the crazy guy that jumped in feet first and got lucky. I got really lucky when I got into real estate market. But I did have a good realtor in Baltimore, Rosita. She was my she took good care of me. So if you get one of those, you got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
But I do highly recommend that people do homework on it, because real estate is the most sustainable market. Real estate is like ironclad of finances.
Okay.
To my opinion, this is my opinion.
Okay.
Real estate is more profitable than any type of currency, than any gold,
okay.
any stock market, because it's long lasting.
Okay.
And actually, one of my favorite quotes is that it's only one estate that has the word real in front of it.
Okay. Okay.
Only one estate that has the word real in front of it.
All right, exactly. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So home ownership. Now, do you have any specifics about, I think we talked about, different types of homes that would be, could make people money even as they're paying off a mortgage?
Yeah. So basically, the differential is that you should understand, going back to the education side again, because that's also what I focus on too, is the education. I want to educate my clients, because I want to make sure that they are making better decisions. Because a lot of times we got people that sell, they sell your product and they don't educate you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have a client, and that's when I have several clients with clients with no houses, clients with houses.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that have a house and have a mortgage, I just want to make sure right off the back you understand that this house is a personal house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a current bill. It's a liability.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
With it being a liability, now you got to look at the value of the house and how much you're paying on the house and how much you have on a mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
That is those three numbers you need to know, so that way you can turn it into something profitable. And that way you can if you have equity, you can utilize the equity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the issue that we have when people do that, though, and this is a traditional issue, it's across the board for everybody, is people take equity and they start they buy a car. They take equity and they do an upgrade to a house.
Mm-hmm.
They very rarely take the equity and reinvest it.
Mm-hmm.
That is how you turn a house that's a liability into an asset.
Gotcha. Okay.
You take that equity to buy another house that is an asset, or you take the equity to make it a true investment that can give you profit, or like by invest in your business. But if you take the equity out of your house and invest it in something else, all you did is extended your liability.
I invested in another liability, right?
Yes, exactly. Now the other side, which is the investment side, which is strictly rental property, of course you're going to pay a higher interest rate for rental property. However, you can get cash flow. And then that's when I go back to the research side. I forgot the name of the book. It's a book I read after being a property owner, and I wish I read it earlier, because what it does is teaches you that before you go and buy a house, you can run the numbers on how much the house costs, what's the interest rate going to be, and what's the cash flow or the rent rate in the area, and develop your cash flow so that you can negotiate the cost of the house. Now you have hey, I got $200 cash flow, $5 cash flow. Now you know how much money you make it in rent prior to buying the house.
Ah, okay.
So you want to make sure first of all, if it's a liability and an asset, how you can turn a liability into an asset. And then if it's an asset, what is that asset going to make you, so that you know what you're getting into? Because sometimes people try to, that's another thing across the board. Some people, they want to get into real estate in an asset side, which is great. Use other people's money. Great, use other people's money. But if you do it to the point where your cash flow is like under $200 and you're that tight, and as soon as your refrigerator goes out, your stove goes out, it becomes a liability real quick. So you want to make sure you got enough cash flow when you do an investment.
Absolutely. Now, what about, I know in Chicago, with multiple unit homes, a lot of people invest in that, where they are living in a portion of the building and then renting it out to others. Is that, something you would advise your clients to pursue? Again, I guess assuming the numbers, make sense.
That's actually becoming, I'm actually going to be bold enough to say that's becoming the new fad. That is the thing. That is the new thing to do because people are tired. People are really tired. So with everybody being tired, and some people are cracking the code that that's the way to go. The information age that we're in, people are learning that's what some wealthy people do. So if you have the opportunity to do that, yes, that is the best thing to do, because now you're going to quickly turn that liability into an asset immediately. So if you have a portion of it, and I know a couple of people that I met a captain a while ago. We just ran across each other through some social media platform, and she actually brought a fourplex in New Jersey. She lives in one, and the other 4 rented out. She's a captain.
So now for the civilians in the audience, that they don't know what that means, but I mean, now there's a big pay jump from lieutenant to captain, but still it's, it's not 6 figures. You're not making 6 figures at all, so
not at all.
It's doable, at a lower wage. So
yeah, and to make sure I conclude on that one, it's a great opportunity. I highly recommend that you do your research, you do some homework. Everything requires education, and you develop a team. That's critical, by the way. Let's go back a little. I'm sorry, I went too fast because I want to make sure I don't tell people to do something and they jump off the boat, jump in the water, and then have a life vest. You start developing a team. So you're going to want a property manager. You're going to want somebody that can do renovations if necessary, or maintenance. And then, of course, going back to my quote, my message earlier is about a good realtor. That way they can help you weather the storm of finding an investment property. Another part is a wholesaler. Wholesalers are really big. I got a lot of friends that are wholesalers. Those are when you get the big deals, when you get somebody that can find. Actually, I got a guy that called me the other day. He said, I have a house. It's kind of falling apart. The guy just went out of it. Hey, would you want to consider investing in this, because you're gonna get it super cheap? And now and then what he said, you're paying into the land. So now I'm getting the profits off the land, and then comes the profit off the equity, because I get equity immediately as well.
Gotcha. Okay. We had a couple of questions in the chat. Are there mutual funds or stocks you would advise us to pay attention to?
I'm going to say, and going back, when you do mutual funds and stocks, invest into what you believe in. So I always tell people, because for a long time, we used to stay away from mutual funds and stock advice. Like I said, I was going through my process of getting a Series 6 that was going to allow me to sell mutual funds and stocks, which I had no problem with that. It's just that mutual funds and stocks are totally out of our control. And of course, one thing I've learned from the mutual fund market and the stock market is that when you have economic crashes or economic recessions and depressions, everything goes down. So when I founded Weapons, I found Weapons more for a true diversification company, meaning I don't deal with stocks and mutual funds, but I tell you to go ahead and invest in it and find what works for you. If you want to advise somebody, then you go talk to somebody with a Series 6, right?
Gotcha.
But me, I focus on, okay, now that you have that set up, because that's easy. Once you got set up, mutual funds is crowdfund stocks. Now I talk to you about alternative investments. And now those type of investment people they're not comfortable with, they don't understand. So I educate you on why it's important to use those. But I also make sure you understand that once you do that, you're now diversified.
Gotcha.
The days of mutual funds saying, oh, I'm diversified because I'm in mutual funds is the day of the 70s.
Okay.
2020 to 21.
Okay.
If you want to diversify, you better be in real estate, you better be in stocks, you better be in notes, you better be in all kinds of stuff. Besides just the stock market.
Okay.
That's what I was.
Ooh, we've got quite an education here in just a few minutes, right? So we're gonna make sure your information is in this post. Do you have any parting? I think that's all the questions. That's the chat questions. Do you have any parting comments that you'd like to make to the audience, the Leadership Unlocked group, private Facebook group?
Well, definitely parting thing, and it might be a shameless plug. It might be a shameless. What I want to say is, out there, you got a lot of people now aren't getting into this. This is becoming viral. There are a lot of people that are flipping houses and trying to get people into the real estate market, because, like I said, it's becoming a information age has allowed people to learn how to do it. You got people that's getting into alternative investments. People that get into Forex, which I am also involved in too. So you have all these vehicles. Now, the cool part is I do all of those things. That's the cool part. I like that part. I do every last one of those. I do a whole spread because I consider myself a true diversified investor. But you also, when you deal with those individuals, you want to make sure as you're going in and deal with anyone, you want to make sure they have a heart of a teacher. They're not just trying to get your business, get you to buy the product, and then you're going to pull out. Sometimes that is on the individual. Some individuals will invest. I've had individuals invest in me, and then I got to chase them down. So make sure you are serious when you invest in anybody, and then find that person that's going to have a heart of a teacher, that's going to really educate you, as you know. And it might sound weird when I say this. Sometimes I teach to the point where I should be irrelevant eventually. Eventually, you should be educated to the point where you can make your own decision.
No. That's the goal of any coach, I think, is, not be needed.
and so the point of now that we both agree, that's the coaching side of it. The issue that most people are afraid of when it comes to finance. A lot of people don't talk to financial people or people like myself because they think that you're going to tell them what to do, or you're going to stick them with a long-term bill, or it's going to be only about just how do I get more money versus it being like, hey, how do I make you self-sufficient? So a lot of times people run because they go, well, I don't need your advice. I don't want you in my business. The taboo of I don't want you to know that I'm hurting. You might want to find out sooner than later. I've had many people that thought they were hurting and were doing really well. And I had people that did not know they were not doing too well, but I educated them and I gave them a plan. So bottom line is always work with somebody that's going to truly give you a plan and educate you. If you can find that person, you're in good hands. If not, you can definitely reach out to me at Weapons Management and I'll take care of you.
Awesome. Shameless. No, I love it. Thank you so much for taking extra time to spend with us. It's so appreciated. And I know you have a conference to get to and you've got 2 minutes to spare. Yes, so you have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you very much. And thank you for the invite. And I look forward to talk to you and reading your book. I ordered your book already.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Shameless plug. Just breathe.